You're watching Thrashing Code. I've only had 1 cup of coffee, so I'm going a little slow today. First things first, here's a summary in the GitHub repo. I'll blow that up a little bit. In the GitHub repo, Terrazzo. So first thing, we want to set up infrastructure as code using Terraform. Open up iTerm and go ahead and pull that repo down somewhere locally to work with it. All right, now I'm going to open up Visual Studio Code. First thing we want to do is we need the Azure Provider, which is going to be provider. At least I hope we're going to go with 2.20.0. In Azure, you have a base resource that you almost always need, which is the Azure Resource Group. So I want to go ahead and just create a resource group. All right, so with a provider now, I can pop open my terminal, all right, and I can Terraform init. We got it running. And let's init that again, and then Terraform. I didn't really need to do that. We're already initialized. I just need to do Terraform plan. There we go. Okay, so it's got the resource group. And then I'm going to make sure that I have my provider connection stuff already set up and actually apply that. Terraform apply. Looks like it's working. Navigate out to Azure portal. Yes, please create the resource group. And it should pop up here in all resources in just a second. Looks like it's working. There we go. So anyway, all right, got the resource group added. And in that resource group, I'm going to add the resource of Azure RM PostgreSQL server, like so. Okay, and we're going to call it our Terrazzo server. Okay, notice how it auto-completed based on some other arbitrary stuff in there. It's like it tried to be smart, but it wasn't smart. It just auto-completed based on other junk I've typed in the file. So we're going to switch to IntelliJ here in just a second and use the HCL plugin in that because it introspects more effectively. Terrazzo, we got it open in IntelliJ. There's these state files, which it shows grayed out or blued out based on this theme. And let's go into settings and actually get IntelliJ set up a little better for the stream here. There we go. That's more readable. Add properties and required elements. Okay, this is something that Visual Studio Code does not have. Let me bounce this up to the appropriate size so you can see. So basically, I just clicked here on this resource and I hit on Mac, it's Alt Return. On Windows, it'd be like, I think Alt Enter or something like that. And it gives you a little shortcut. It says Add Properties. You notice it added it with an appropriate 2 spaces based on my convention too, which is nice. And we'll start following a good workflow practice here as we do this, and we'll only be doing Terraform applies. There we go. It's creating. So I'm going to go up here though, and we'll start making some of these edits. Autocomplete, because I have variables in there. I'm hitting Control Space. Come on, space. There it goes. Auto completes. I had to get it started there. Probably hasn't finished. There we go. So everything's destroyed. These things are set now. I want to put the server up here. So this is the bar.server. What's the last one? Oh yeah, and the database. We haven't added the database yet, so we'll do that in a minute. Okay, the next thing I need to do then, get the, oh yeah, we need to initialize as variables and set those. The way I like to do that is to create a bash script to do each of the specific things that I like to do. And we're going to start with Terraform apply. So Terraform apply is going to look like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and set it to auto approve. Whenever I run this, it'll automatically apply, and I won't have to type yes when I do Terraform apply. So now this is a script way to have that variable inserted into the script at time of execution of the script call. Okay, so when I run this file, insert the environment variable into this file. And then let's go ahead and add a database name. And then let's go ahead and add our API port. We're going to do API port and set it to 8080. And that, I think, is all of our variables that we were going to set. All right, so these 2 things are set in my bash RC or my bash profile or my Zush file. There's the Postgres username and Postgres password like that. See, sassy password, Postgres, blah, blah, blah. And it'll take these environment variables and insert those into this. All right, so we got those bits done. So now we're pretty much set. I'm going to go ahead and put these 2 variables back. So even though they're not used, they are set, so it won't cause an error. The other thing that we need to do here is we need a chmod 700 to make it executable. Let's do that one. Also, if you list it, you'll see them color coded differently. Usually, depending on your CLI, they'll color code differently. Terraform apply. And I'm going to execute that Terraform apply. So it's going to take those variables, insert those into there, and execute this. And we should get that whole database back. The next thing that I want to add now is going to be the actual database, I believe. So let's get the database added. Resource, Azure RM, Postgres, firewall role. What should we call it? We'll call it the Azure DB. Then we're going to have a resource group that it needs to go in. We want the server, then that server, and the name. So we're all set, and we're ready to now set up the firewall rule. Start and end IP address. Okay, that's these. All right. This database is going to be created inside of the server, and we should be all set there. And I'll show you what I'm going to use it for. It's kind of like a trick in some ways. Is I'm going to have it concatenate together the path we need to go to in the browser with the API port so that we can navigate to the Hasura console interface to do our next stages of things. But it'll get us started without having to go back into the Azure portal anymore. The apply happening, and you should just see it zip through now, or we'll see it zip through, because there is no apply really to happen. Almost got everything done here in our Terraform. So we have a repeatable, deployable environment. The next thing that we need now, though, is the API server. So this is not an entirely difficult part. And in that resource, Azure RM. And then now, okay, it's telling me I have some required things. Alt-Enter again, and I'm going to add the properties. Boom, it added them for me. All right, resource group name. Just going to let that run. So let's grab that path, and let's see where we get, huh? Boom. Oh, yeah, here we go. Bam! Yep, API server. So we're basically done. We have a deployed Hasura console API server out there. Let's get in here and let's do something real quick. So we have these basic default schemas. And you know the database has to be there if we create a schema, right? Obviously. So let's create one. Say create. And we're going to call this Azure. One more thing, right? Let's create a table. And boom. There we go. There's the table. We can even, let's do this. Boom, look at that. It is in our database. So now we know we have a database. It is connected to the Hasura GraphQL API server. It has data in it. It has a table in it. It has a schema that has that table in it. So bam, we are live and working. Keep in mind though, it does destroy the database every single time. So if you put stuff in the database, it won't be there when you go back to it. Doing the infrastructure. It's infrastructure as code, but I'm going to show you how to work with the console against your Hasura API GraphQL server without having the console turned on the actual live API GraphQL server. That's the next trick. So I turned it off via the environment variable. It's destroying the group. So since it destroyed the group, it's probably going to destroy everything. So that was a very destructive change, I bet. Yep. So let's see here. So now if I take this and I try to go out to the site, I'm going to get zilch, right? Yep. Not available. It just gives me that dead end. Okay. But remember this path. This path is still important. We're going to keep it right there. So we're going to type Hasura init. Yes, that's right. Only those two things. Now, if I click up here, it'll refresh it. There it is. So there's my migrations directory. I have some files in here, and I have a config YAML. Here we go. Oh, just added in the wrong spot. I didn't know where I was adding it. That's pointed at the right direction. So now when we use the Hasura CLI commands to do our migrations, which we will do here in just a minute, it'll actually be pointed at the live Azure deployment of the Hasura server. So let's get that done, right? False. I don't want that live. Back to terminal. Then we're going to go with Terraform apply. All right. And that'll get us to the next stage. And now, if I go into migrations, get started with that part. Boom. There we go. Now it's got this other junk in here. but I want to go over to data. And as I use this interface, it's going to save all the changes I make. So first things first, I'm going to navigate to Azure, and I'm going to actually delete this schema. Let's take a look in IntelliJ, and note, migrations now has a migration in it. Okay, there we go. So we got 3 tables: activity, formatter, and schema. And those need connected in some way. They need correlated to other things and the sources that we would add into the database, right? As we collect these sources of data and use DB diagrams, a little tool I like to use. I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna click on, oh, look, there is one of the schemas I have, as you can see. So this is the stuff we just added. Whoops. And then we'll have the formatter, we'll have the activity, and then we'll have the schema. And then the source will have some notes about it, possibly, and a particular note jot. But I'm gonna use this as a reference map, okay? All right, so we're gonna do connection now. And this is gonna have an ID, UID, generate random UID. We'll add that. So now though, we can go into activity. And if we go look at the migrations, you'll see the migrations are here, but each of these steps should be added specifically as a migration in a particular order and everything. So now if we go back here, there we go. So the constraint is added to connection table, foreign key connection ID, schema connection ID, foreign key, and you see references there to what it actually connects to. All right, so now relationships, let's add this one, save, and add this one, save, and I believe that'll do it. Yep, there we go. So now I'll scroll back up to relationships and add that. When we go back out to our GraphQL, we have all of these different ways we can query. So, okay, we have our database out there. We have a database schema that I pointed to out on DB diagram. So this is the state of our system, but let's say we Terraform destroyed now and we nuked all this stuff. That would be scary if we did all this work and weren't able to redeploy it easily. Now, the easiest way to get those back is to do Hasura, migrate. But what we're going to do now is nuke everything and get everything rebuilt with metadata. Terraform destroy. I want to destroy everything. So that's what's happening, destroying everything. The database is going to be gone. The database server is going to be gone. The resource group is going to be gone. The firewall setting is going to be gone. The database schema and tables, relationships, all of that work we did is going to be gone. And then we're going to re-add all this stuff, get everything pushed back using migrations, metadata, and Terraform against Azure. All right, running. Any minute now, we're going to have a destroyed database. And we can complete this stream by having all this stuff rolled together, bam, redeployed, and usable. All right, so it's destroyed. Test. So we're going to Terraform apply. So bounce back over here and let's apply. This should apply and get everything rebuilt from the infrastructure perspective specifically, right? As soon as that's done, this will probably take 2 or 3 minutes, like it normally does, to create a database. Database is getting set up with 7 days worth of database backups. And this part has taken about a minute, and then it's done. And here is our location. Okay, and we can do Hasura, migrate, apply. And let's let all that run. Now, if we refresh this, it's dead, but I'm going to do console. Okay, it worked. All right, we are looking good. We are looking good. And all the stuff here, yep, all this is back. There's the API server. There's the server in Azure. Okay, we set up infrastructure using Terraform. Then we built out our initial database schema. Whew, all this stuff. So anyway, all in all, we have knocked out a ton of stuff today. We just covered a fair bit of GraphQL. Thanks to Microsoft for sponsoring the stream today. Appreciate that. Peace out, y'all.